Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today we're back with Mood Reader Tries a TBR. So I took a month off in October to mood read, and I tell you it was needed. Like, it was needed after doing a TBR for 2 months, and I went, well, I had like a rough plan that I set out in my head about finishing series. It did not happen at all. Like, I read a weird mix of things in October, but we're back with Mood Reader Tries TBR again for November, and in the month of November I am going to be trying out Jessie Mae's Roll the Dice game. This is the TBR for this month. This is the game that we're trying and seeing how this works for me. Like Jessie, I have the whiteboard and the dice, have all that handy. I have split it up into sections, so I have the continuations in series, I have standalones, and I have new series. So those are my 3 sections. Unlike Jessie, my dice are normal 6-sided dice. I don't have her like 10-sided dice, so we're just stuck with like a normal die. So the normal ones. So I don't think it really takes that much explaining, really. If you've seen Jessie's TBR game, she rolls the dice, whatever it lands on, she reads that book, or she puts it into, like, for her, I think she rolls quite a few and then she has options and those are what she picks from. I'm gonna have 5 rolls because I like the number 5. I feel like if I roll 5, then I can read those 5, and I also should have a bit of room to mood read around those 5 books, in theory, depending on how like big they are and like what my reading is like next month. But in theory, 5, I should be able to get 5 easily enough. Roll number 1, Fall of Babel. For roll number 1, we landed on The Fall of Babel, the 4th book in the Books of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. I actually have an arc of this, so I do definitely intend to get to this before it's released, and in the first half of the month. I did endeavour to get to it in October, but that did not happen. No. You'll see my October wrap up next week, what happened with October, but no, fantasy didn't really happen. No, so Fall of Babel hasn't happened in October, so I definitely hope to get to it at the very beginning of November before its release. I have been a bit lukewarm on the series. I've enjoyed it overall, but it's not like a new favourite. Unlike a lot of people who for a lot of people it is their like favourite series, but for me, I've liked it but not loved it. But definitely interested to see how it all concludes. Senlin Ascends, the first book, you're following Senlin and his wife Maria, Senlin and his wife Maria, as they go on their honeymoon to the Tower of Babel, and they have their perceptions about what the Tower of Babel is going to be like. Turns out it's not like that. At the very beginning of the book, they become separated, and you mostly follow Senlin as he tries to ascend the tower to try and find her. The second and third book, you have a lot more perspectives in them, which I really like. I like having the increase in perspective, and it gives it for me, it was a more dynamic story. So I'm definitely interested to see. I mean, it's now we're into book 4. It's definitely going to have the multiple perspectives, which I have been enjoying. So that's book number 1. Replaced with the Bone Shard Emperor. 4, American Gods. Book number 2 is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This is the Shelf Space Buddy Read pick for the month of November, which I am hosting. So we have picked this as the pick. It's a lot longer than I was expecting. I did not realise this book was like 600 pages odd. Is that about right? Yeah, 630 pages. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know why. Maybe because I read some Neil Gaiman before. I read Coraline, Stardust, and The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and they're all very short. So I don't, by just chance, I have read his short books. I haven't read any of his longer works, but I've heard a lot of talk about American Gods. I've never seen the TV show. I mean, I've seen it advertised. I know the premise of this is that this guy gets released from prison and he comes across God. That is what I have assumed that it's about. I don't really know where it goes from there, aside from that he's met this God when he's left prison. But I have enjoyed Neil Gaiman's writing style previously, so I have high hopes that I will enjoy this. I feel like I'm going to like it, and I feel like Neil Gaiman, so I read those 3 books by him years ago, like years and years ago, and I haven't like continued and read any of his other stuff. Not for like, just no reason whatsoever. I just get distracted. So having this as the Shelf Space Buddy Read pick has definitely like encouraged me to put this on, to like read it, and thankfully the dice landed on it. So yeah, just intrigued. Replaced with Little Thieves. Little Thieves coming straight off. The third one that it landed on was Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. This is a new release which came out in October. I did have an arc of it which I did not get to. Shame on me. Shame. But now it's released and I still should try and get to it. My arc had some really dodgy formatting on the Kindle version, so I think I will go out and buy the physical edition of it and read the physical version, as opposed to trying to struggle through the e-arc, which, like, the lines, it just kept jumping. Like, it'd be mid-sentence and it would jump and it put like a couple of words on another line and then it would jump again to the next line, so it was just really annoying to read. So I did start it and then it was like, this is really annoying me, and so I was like, I'm not getting a good reading experience out of this, so I delayed reading it, and then the arc was then the book was released and I still haven't read it. So having it on a November TBR is good because it means that I can, like, tell NetGalley that I will actually read it. So this is a Goose Girl retelling, which I really like that as a fable, story, myth, I don't know, like fairy tale. I really liked The Goose Girl as a fairy tale. I read the one that Shannon Hale did growing up as a teenager, and I reread that book so many times. I loved it. But I believe this is actually following the maidservant as opposed to, like, the princess, so the villain. And I think she gets, like, found out and she gets cursed that she's gonna turn into gems or something. So yeah, I believe it's going to be fun. I've not read any Margaret Owen before. I know she has a duology out, which I have been interested in, so I'll definitely see how this, like, standalone works for me, and then I can see if I want to read the rest of her books. Replaced with The Switch. Mask of Mirrors. Roll number 4 landed on a book that I've been planning to read, like, all year, which is Mask of Mirrors. And I have been putting off because I'm like, it's the start of a series and I've got so many series to finish. But I feel like this book is going to be for me. It's been marketed to me. It's been like, the amount of people that have told me that I'm going to love this book, predominantly Angela from Literature Science Alliance has told me that this is going to be the book for me. So I trust in Angela. And the thing is, just the description of it, like, a con artist in, like, a Venetian inspired world with, like, ballroom politics, and there's, like, characters that you don't know if you're going to trust them or not. There's this guy called the Rook, which I hear is a bit dreamy, but there's, like, romance, but it's not, like, too romancy. And I just think I feel like this book and this series is going to be for me. The second book is coming out, I think, at the beginning of December, so I would be, like, in perfect timing for that. And I just this is the last book that I have on my 5-star predictions video, and so I just need to read this one, and hopefully this one is a 5-star and my prediction is correct. But as this is, like, the dice have told me that I have to read this now, so I have to read this now. Like, I can't put this off to try and finish another series. Like, it's on the list, it's on the table. I've been making a little bit of progress on my series in October, and hopefully with the Fall of Babel, that will also encourage me to finish series, so it is okay that I start one. And Bitter Blue. And then roll number 5 was Bitter Blue, which is another series finale. Yeah, I'm considering this the finale of the Gracing series. I know that there was a new book that came out this year, but I've heard quite mixed reviews, so I think I'm just going to leave it as a trilogy and have this as the final book. It's the last book in the Gracing series. I've enjoyed Gracing and Fire. I read them earlier this year and I've been planning to finish it for, like, months, but here we go. In November we're going to finish this series. This is, like, an older YA, so it was published quite a few years ago now, 2012, but I believe it's really, like, held up and is, like, comparable to the majority of the YA that is being released today. At least what I've read from Gracing and Fire, like, they really held up, and they were fun stories, really. That is what the dice have told me to read. So I have 3 of the books here, which are Mask of Mirrors, Bitter Blue and American Gods, and then there is Little Thieves and Fall of Babel on top of this. And these are all quite chunky, like, these are all very long books. Like, I didn't land on, did I put any short ones really on the list? Not really. And considering that I've had a bit of a fantasy slump, I really hope, considering that is a lot of fantasy, like, that's all fantasy, really, yeah, that is all fantasy, that I definitely get back into my fantasy mojo in November. To hopefully my fantasy mojo is properly back for this TBR, because this is very fantasy. That is what the dice have told me that I am reading, those 5. I don't think there's anything else. I think the rest that I will try and mood read around it and see what else I pick up. There are quite a few new releases, Fall of Babel being one of them, coming out in November. There is also the Bone Shard Emperor coming out, which I am really interested in. And there is as well Jade Legacy, but I don't believe that's going to get to me until December. Like, even if it comes out on like the 30th of November, that's not going to be read in November, it's going to be read in December. I think those are the major ones that I'm interested in. Cytonic I am 100% interested in, but I feel like I need to reread the rest of the series before I get to it, so I don't think it's going to happen in November. I think I will try and delay it a little bit until closer to the publication of the 4th and final book in the series. Speaking of Brandon Sanderson though, I do really want to start Words of Radiance, which would be another very large epic fantasy book to add to a TBR, where I've already got 5 quite large fantasy books on it. But I do really want to read this. I don't know if I would just start it and then like finish it in December, but this is something that I really do want to get to. Because I want to get to it before the end of the year, and there's only 2 months left now. Like, there's not long left for me to get to this before the end of the year. So hopefully I could at least start this, even if I don't finish it, because it is over 1,000 pages, 1,080 pages. So I may not be able to finish it because that's like 2 large books in one, but if I could at least start this, then I feel like that would put me in good stead. So that is my TBR for the month of November. We shall see how we do, how this mood reader does at a TBR, because I have thrived mood reading this month. So we will see how I do going back to being on a TBR and being on not a schedule, but like a plan. We'll see how this goes. I would definitely recommend checking out Jessie's channel if you haven't already, and watching the original Roll the Dice game. Let me know what books you have on your October TBR, and if you've read any of these and which ones you're excited to hear my thoughts on. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!